Hey guys, Magnus Rabbi here, bringing you another video. Now this is a brand new top 20 characters they should add to The Simpsons Tapped Out. Now I did one, let me check exactly how long ago I did it. I did one quite a while ago though, I'm just going to go double check exactly how long ago. But a lot of characters from that list ended up getting added to the game. A total of 10 of them. Well, basically 10 of them got knocked off my list. So I was no, sorry, not 10. I was left. There's 9 characters that were on that list, which are now on this list. It was 11 months ago, near enough a year ago now. So I mean, I think it's about time to kind of do a new version of it. Makes a lot of sense, and we've got some new characters on here. I didn't want to do it to 10 because it would be mainly characters from the other list, and some of my subscribers may have seen that list 11 months ago. So I've decided to kind of just stick with top 20. Also, I've kind of jiggled them around. They're not the exact same as the list. Like I'll tell you, the top spot is the same as the old list. I wouldn't recommend going back to that old list because it has a lot of characters that are already in the game, like Declan Desmond and Frankie the Squealer and Johnny Tight Lips. They're on that list. And also, just before I start, I forgot to mention in the actual recording I did, I completely knocked Lyle Landley off my list. Like, he was number 20. I've now just completely knocked. He would be number 9, but I've just completely knocked him off my list completely because after they did the monorail update, to be honest, I couldn't care if they added a character in the future. The fact that they didn't add him with the monorail just royally pisses me off, and I couldn't care for his character being added in the game anymore. Because the reason I really wanted Lyle in the game originally in my list I did 11 months ago is because he was he was associated with the monorail, and it would have been the perfect character to kind of introduce the monorail. But now that's gone. Anyway, let's get into the list. So let's get into it. Let's go with number 20. So number 20 is actually Judge Harm. So Judge Harm, for me, she's a pretty cool character. She's kind of a villain in a way, and I think she would make a really, really cool level. Now, the obvious thing they could add is a houseboat, and it'd be a pretty cool level overall. Of course, you have the stuff of her. She's a very harsh lawyer. We can have a lot of tasks involved with the actual Springfield courthouse, and I think it would just be a generally really, really cool character. I would presume she'd be premium over Cash, but I mean overall, I would really, really, really love it if they added her as a character into the game. Anyway, moving on. Number 19 is actually Larry Burns. So Larry Burns is Mr. Burns' son. I just feel like the fact that he's Mr. Burns' son, he's related to such a big character. And Larry Burns himself isn't the smallest of characters. He is in quite a few episodes. He's in a few episodes, and he's obviously got an episode where he is the central point. I think it just makes a lot of sense to add him with either Burns' Summer Mansion. That makes sense. Another one of Burns' properties. Any one of Burns' properties they could really add him with, and it would make sense to add him with it. I mean, there isn't really much more justification. That's all I can really say. But I just feel like the fact that he's Mr. Burns' son, he should be added real soon, and I would hope they add him in the future. Number 18 is actually Richard. Now, Richard is one of the kids who attends Springfield Elementary. He doesn't really talk so much. He's not the biggest of characters, but he is there. He is in a lot of episodes in the background, and just kind of hanging around. I've done a video really recently talking about him maybe coming with the youth center, which is kind of like a hangar, an old abandoned hangar. I think he would be a really, really cool character to see in the game, and I'd really hope they do add him in the future. Number 17 is Lewis. Again, Lewis is kind of the same as Richard. He is another kid in Springfield Elementary. He's also pretty cool. There's some dialogue between him and Bart sometimes. They can do some story with him. I mean, they're not really very heavily characters with heavy storylines or anything. But there's other kids. Obviously, you have other kids like Nelson and Ralph. Even Ralph. I guess maybe not Database. Database is kind of like a smaller character. But these kind of kids, and they have kind of a bit more storyline than these. But yeah, but they could still do some pretty cool stuff. Number 16 is actually Alison Taylor. Again, another kid. I know we're going through a lot of kids, but another really cool one they could add, the kind of rivalry between her and Lisa. Obviously, she's a lot more cleverer than Lisa, which Lisa's never really experienced. They could kind of rehash that in The Simpsons Tapped Out and do it in a really cool way. You know, add her with a house, maybe add her father in there as well. I just think Alison really needs to be added to the game. I think, you know, she's a really, really cool character, and there can be some really, really cool storylines there as well. I'm hoping they do some sort of kid update, where they just add all these kids in. Obviously, the Christmas update was kind of central on babies, wasn't it? They added a load of babies there, and obviously, like not Cookie Kwan, they added Ling Bouvier and stuff like that. Anyway, moving on. Number 15 is actually Wendell. Wendell is obviously the sick kid. Again, I've done a video recently talking about why he should come with the children's hospital. But you know, he's the sick kid that's over there. Out of all the kids, he's my favourite. I think he'd be the one I want to see more. He's just a bit more interesting than the others, in my opinion. They could do some pretty cool stuff with him. You know, him getting sick, maybe him spreading his sickness around and stuff. I don't know. But he's a very, very sick kid, and there's going to be some pretty funny tasks in there with him being sick and stuff. I don't know. You know, it's that kind of dark humor. I don't want to say dark humor, immature humor that The Simpsons sometimes has. And he's been in so many episodes. He's been there since the start, and he's still in it to this day. He really needs to be added. Number 14 is actually Larry, as in the barfly, not Mr. Burns' son. Obviously, Larry is a barfly in Moe's. Again, he has been in so many episodes. He is a background character, and we know he's an alcoholic, and we know he's kind of a bit of a troublemaker. But the fact is, he's been in so many episodes in the background. He just needs to be added to Tapped Out. They've put all these other background characters into Tapped Out that haven't appeared as much as he has. And some of these background characters have done nothing. Like Gummy Joe, for example, that they added recently. Is it Gummy Joe? I think it's Gummy Joe. But the old Gummy something, the old guy, the old Western guy. He is such a small character, and they've added him to the game. I mean, there's other things as well. They added a goddamn Tumbleweed as a character. I'm pretty sure they can add Larry, and he'd be pretty cool. Number 13 is actually George Bush. He has actually come down on my list after kind of rethinking it and looking at some of the other characters. I've kind of put George Bush a bit lower. Also, I kind of feel like, although it would be pretty cool to have him, I think some of the other characters, again, like I said, the list, I just feel like they should be added way more than he should. But he is a really cool character as well. He's another really kind of like I know he's a real life person, but we're talking about George H. Bush, the first one, the older one. You know what I'm talking about. But yeah, him and Homer, the rivalry between him and Homer is pretty cool. Now unfortunately they've already added his house into the game, which has really pissed me off. Really, that they've added his house without him. So they're gonna have to add him some other way. I don't know how, but yeah, they added the presidential estate, which is actually just the whatever number he is, Evergreen Terraced. It's just a smaller version. It's one of the things that kind of annoys me when they do that, but hey ho. So yeah, I think they should add what's his face, him. They should add George Bush. Anyway, moving on. Number 12 is Sam. He's the other barfly. The reason I've actually put him above Larry and above George Bush is I just feel, again, he appears a bit more than Larry actually, in terms of what the wiki says anyway. Also, he has a bit of dialogue as well. Larry literally, I don't think he's ever talked. Sam's talked a little bit. Also, I don't know. I just feel like Sam looks a bit cooler than Larry. Larry looks like a really kind of bland character. I know it's really weird, but I just feel like Sam looks a bit more unique than Larry, if you know what I mean. It's a bit of I know it's kind of a weird way to justify the fact that I'm talking about looks, but still, I don't know. I just feel like that'd be pretty cool. I feel like Sam would be cooler than Larry. I don't know why. Well, they should be added together probably, if anything. But they might add them separately. Moving on, number 11 is actually Itchy and Scratchy as actual characters. So I want these to actually be proper characters that you can actually, have tasks and walk around Springfield, just like Radioactive Man and Fall Out Boy do. I want Itchy and Scratchy to do the same in Springfield, and also some crappy little mascots in Krusty Land. Because honestly, at this point, Krusty Land is dead. They're not revisiting it, or at least I don't think they are ever again. It's pretty much just gone now. It really frustrates frustrates me that they have kind of neglected Crusty Land, and I do hope they do something in the future. But at the minute, it's just dead. I really like Itchy and Scratchy as actual characters. They could add them with any building whatsoever, and they could actually revise it by doing that. They could make it cool again, as actually adding them as proper characters, saying, you know, they've come to life, and leave the mascots in. The mascots are still cool, and they, you know, they're exclusive to Crusty Land, and that's pretty cool, and I like that. But I think it's about time we have we have an Itchy and Scratchy that actually have tasks that can come into Springfield as well. Anyway, moving on. I know I've kind of cheated there putting them together, but they're practically the same characters, so. And I didn't do it for Sam and Larry, but whatever. Anyway, number 10, I've put Bender. So Bender, for me, he should have been added in the Futurama crossover. And I know they're probably never going to add Bender to the game, and I'm fully aware of that, just because of the legal issues, and also, well, it's not legal issues. It's the fact that they're going to have to pay the copyright for him. And it will cost EA a bit more to do it, and I guess they're not really willing to pay copyright for Bender when they're already paying for the copyright for The Simpsons, so they don't want to do Futurama on top just for one character, which I think is fair enough in a sense, but they're earning so much money, it's kind of a bit stupid, really. Now, one way they could get around this is maybe doing some sort of like Futurama. See, I don't want to really turn Tap Tap into a Futurama at all, but they could maybe add a few more than just Bender and kind of expand it a bit more, so they're getting more money out of it. But I really want Bender to be added anyway. Out of Fry, Fry, Leela, Professor Farnsworth, Zoidberg. I just want Bender. I don't want them. I just want Bender. I just want one Futurama character. That's all I want. Yeah, it's probably not going to happen. But I'm going to put him on the list anyway. It's number 10. I really do want to see Bender in the game. Number 9 is actually Raphael. Now, Raphael, again, he's a bit like Squeaky Voice Teen in a way. He's just a character who just has loads and loads and loads of jobs, and he's been seen in so many different things. Did a video recently how he should come with is it Brooklyn Apartments or Brooklyn Apartments? Some apartments anyway. He actually works and lives there, so it makes complete sense that he should be added there with them. But they really need to add Raphael as one of those characters that just it's just essential to the thing. And he's in so many episodes, kind of a bit of a background character, but he does have he has a lot of dialogue. He's kind of quite a funny character as well. He's the kind of wise guy that was kind of nicknamed for a while before he got named. So it makes sense to add him. Number 8 now, I've kind of cheated again here a little bit here, and I've put kind of like a trio. I've put the 3 nerds, as in Gary, Doug, and Ben. The reason I've put all 3 is mainly because they need to be added with the university. There's no other building they can really be added with, and honestly, I just feel like they kind of are the same character in a sense. I should have probably put Sam and Larry together. I realise that now, but I just feel like they are kind of the same character in a way. So I've added them here is one of the same. I feel that they should do that. They should add the university with all 3. I know they've never done that before. The most they've done is with 2 characters, but I just feel it'd be cool. It would be a nice treat if they were to bring the level back. That'd be pretty cool if they did that as level 60. I don't know. They need to bring level 60 out anyway, because at this point they haven't brought it out yet, which is just really, really frustrating. And not have these crappy levels, because leaving it at 59 is just really gay. That's not gay, sorry. That's the inappropriate word. It's really annoying that they've left it at 59, and not rounded it off at least with a 5 or a 0, But anyway, yeah, again, there'll be pretty cool characters, with Homer and stuff, interacting with him, them researching, I don't know, maybe protesting or something. I'm not too sure, but they'd be pretty cool. Anyway, number 7 is actually Bleeding Gums Murphy. Now, Bleeding Gums Murphy, again, he was actually on my top 10 list. We're going on to the characters that actually made it onto my top 10 now. But Bleeding Gums actually did make it onto my top 10 originally. The reason I really, really want them to add him is mainly because he's kind of such a big impact on Lisa, and that's the reason that Lisa kind of plays the saxophone is because of Bleeding Gums Murphy, and it's a really nice relationship between the two. And honestly, I just think they should add the guy. They've added all these other characters now. They've added obviously like Mona Simpson, for example. She was on my list a while ago, and they managed to add her, and they've added all these other characters. They need to add Bleeding Gums Murphy. He's one of the original kind of characters, and I know he died quite sudden, but he's a bit like Frank Grimes in a way. Although he does die, and his death, the reason of his character is because of his death, and they just need to add him. There's nothing else to say. Anyway, moving on. Number 6 is actually Jebediah Springfield. Now, he actually was in my original top 10 as well. Now, some people are probably asking, like, why Jebediah Springfield? Out of all the characters in The Simpsons, why pick Jebediah? Now, it's a bit weird. Now, the reason I really want them to add him is, again, they do dead characters all the time. But he is the founder of Springfield. He is the reason all these characters are in this town. He is kind of the central point. And you get given the Jebediah Springfield statue, and you get given all these other things. And we've seen, George Washington and all that. I feel like the 4th of July update, although he's not really he's not a president, he's still a founder. And I feel like 4th of July update, they really do need to add Jebediah Springfield to the game. I just feel like he's going to feel really welcome into the game. He is the founder of Springfield and all that, and I just think it'd make a really, really cool update. I really, really wish they added him on Whacking Day all those years ago on Whacking Day. Obviously, Jebediah Springfield is the person who started the whole, killing the snakes thing. It just would have made sense to add Jebediah to the Whacking Day update, but they didn't. But that's okay. But I really do hope they add him in the future. I know it's really weird that I've put him above all these other characters, but, that's just how it is. It's just how I feel, Anyway, we're getting to the top 5 now. Number 5 is actually Sarah Wiggum. Surprisingly, I've actually put her above Jeb, which is a bit weird, but mainly because I really, really want them to complete the Wiggum family. Wiggum and his family are kind of they're quite a big, they're quite a major character, a bit like Flanders' family. Flanders and his family is quite major as well. They've added all the Flanders family, they've added all the Lovejoy family, they've added all the Simpsons character family. What other families have we got? They haven't added, obviously, Greta and Wolfcastle and her, and obviously they haven't added her mother. But Sarah Wiggum is quite a big character as well. She is a bit of a background character, but she's like a regular background character, and I just really, really would love to see her into the game. It makes a lot of sense that she would be added, and she kind of needs to be added in a way. So Sarah Wiggum, I'd love to see her. There's not really much more to say. I just want to see her in the game. And obviously, I think I came up with a building that she should come with. I forgot what it was called now, but it was like a finance planning that she was seen with working with. She needs to be added with that. That'd be pretty cool. Anyway, getting into number 4 is actually going to be Gil, and I've talked about this before. He was also on my list for, characters I don't think are ever going to be added into Tapto, as in, I don't think he's ever going to be added as an actual character, and not just a cash cow, because that literally all he is. At the minute, he's just a cash cow. He comes and goes, he'll walk around your town, he'll look like he's preaching, but he's just there to make you spend some donuts. And I really want them to add him as a character. They can do it. They can make it so he still is a cash cow. But when there's a couple of ways that they could do it really, and my favourite way, and it's one that I kind of came up with, is one day he comes for a deal. Someone else also suggested maybe after you've purchased like 5-10 guild deals that then he actually unlocks for you. That'd be another really cool way to do it, but I don't know how they would determine how many guild deals you got. I don't know, there'd be some sort of counter or something. But what I think would be a pretty cool way is one day Gil says, screw it, I'm selling myself. There's nothing else to sell. There's no other deals I can think of. I can't. They can make some pretty cool. They can break the fourth wall and do some jokes with it. He's like, yeah, I'm selling myself, and then you buy him, and then eventually he'll do some more deals down the road. But for everyone who has actually purchased him, he for the duration that he has a deal, he won't have his regular tasks. He'll have the deal above his head until you purchase it, or maybe you can dismiss it, or I don't know, maybe not dismiss it, but maybe for this period that he has got, he's got the deal on, that he just won't be able to do tasks, and they can just do it like that. And then for everyone who didn't buy him, is obviously he just comes into town for a bit and then screws off when you've bought the deal, or you didn't buy the deal. Anyway, number 3 is actually Hyman Krusty. I've never said his name right. I never will. Krusty's dad. Really, really, really big character that I don't understand why he's not in the game yet. Krusty's dad, again, I like to talk about the whole, completing the family things. I said it with obviously Larry Burns, and I said it with Sarah Wiggum. it's just nice to complete the family into the game, and I like it when they do that. They really need to add him. You know, it's the emotional impact between him and Krusty would be pretty cool. It's just a cool character. Obviously, he's Jewish as well. I know Krusty's Jewish as well, but Krusty doesn't really give a Jewish feel to him, and obviously he's not like a hardcore Jew. If that makes sense. As in but he is, Krusty's dad actually is a rabbi, and they can add him with the synagogue, obviously, and it'd be pretty cool. And they've added other religions. Obviously, they got the church, and they've also got Shotgun's Pete's church. No, it's not a church. Is it a church? I don't know. But they've got a bit of atheism in there. They've got a bit of Christianity, and they've got a bit of Buddhism as well. And why not add some Jewish religion, some Jewish related buildings as well, and they can do some Islam related buildings with the Bin Laden's better characters. I know that sounds controversial, but there is a family called the Bin Ladens. Look it up. they're not bad or anything. They are good people. But anyway, moving on. Number 2 is actually Lionel Hutz, as you probably thought. Lionel Hutz, for me, really cool character. I don't think they're going to add him straight away just because of the voice actor, because obviously he was murdered, and I feel like out of respect they've retired the characters, but I don't know, they could just add him without voice, and it'd be still pretty cool just to have the character there. Lionel Hutz has been mentioned quite a few times after the obviously the voice actor was murdered, so they could still add them. I feel like they are just doing it out of respect, and they're not adding them out of respect, which I completely agree with. And obviously, getting on to number 1, we'll have that drum roll anyway. It's Troy McClure. Okay, it follows into the same reason, the Lionel Hutz. They're both voiced by the same voice actor, and the problem is, obviously, he was murdered and stuff, and so they might not add the 2 just because of that, but again, Troy McClure still gets number 1. He got number 1 last time. He gets number 1 this time. I really desperately want them to add Troy McClure. Out of all these, he's one of my favourite characters, full stop. So he's probably definitely my top 10 favourite characters in The Simpsons as a whole. And the fact they haven't added him has really pissed me off. But they could add him in the future. I still hope they do one day. I'm praying on it, but I don't think it is that likely just because of the whole murder situation. I know it sounds like a silly reason, but, well, it doesn't sound like a silly reason. It sounds like not who cares, but it doesn't matter. It's not like it's not like it's disrespecting the guy or anything. And that's true, it's not really disrespecting the guy, but I just feel like they did retire the characters in the actual Simpsons universe, so I think they're going to keep them retired in the Tap Tap universe as well. But anyway, guys, that's the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed my top 20. Jesus Christ, it was 20 minutes long, but a minute per character and just a little bit more for talking. So yeah, so that's it. I guess in another year's time, I'll probably do another one of these. I'll probably update it again. As for my top 10 buildings, I'm pretty sure the majority of them haven't been added, so I'll have to go look back at that. I probably won't update that one quite yet anyway, so I'm pretty sure the majority of the buildings I put on that list have never been added, like the Box Factory and Ken Brotman's house. I don't think they've ever been added yet, so, Anyway, that's it, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next video. Goodbye.